You're watching the North Carolina Players Show on Fan Media Network. Welcome back, George Lynch, 1993 national champion at the University of North Carolina, longtime NBA player. On Saturday, a hastily scheduled game with Notre Dame. They were originally supposed to play Syracuse. Syracuse has been in COVID protocol. So Notre Dame agreed to travel to Chapel Hill and fill in. They come in with a great shooting team. North Carolina was able to escape with a 1-point victory, 66-65, thanks to Leaky Black's runner with about 9 seconds to go. George, give me your breakdown of the game.
I think, like we talked previous games before, it's going to take upperclassmen like Leaky Black, Garrison Brooks to make timely baskets, make timely plays on both ends, offensively and defensively. With the freshman Sharper having a career game with 25, it took Leaky's timely bucket to pull them ahead. So I think that it's gonna be one of those years. If the upperclassmen can make timely buckets and timely plays, I think we'll have a chance to win some games.
Tell me about Sharp. Sharp has 25 points, as you mentioned, 9 rebounds. Played probably the most minutes he played all year, and they were really going to him. He had 19 field goal attempts. Yeah, he's 9 of 19. I don't know if you ever got 19 shots off as a freshman. I know I did.
Never.
What did you see in his game, and who does he remind you of, either a Carolina player or somebody you played against in the NBA?
He's a tenacious rebounder. I like to say I was one of those rebounders when I was at Carolina. But Coach Williams mentioned that he rebounds the ball like Hansborough. And if we can get that out of him, like I said, we won the rebounding battle both offensively and defensively. It's going to take a lot of that in today's game against the three-point shooters. And if he can keep that up, look like he shot about close to 49% from the field, made his free throws. I hate to say that we got to rely on the freshmen to do that every night, but if any one of our bigs can give us those type of numbers, second chance points on the glass, I think we'll be in a lot of ball games.
Yeah, I was impressed with his feel around the basket, his drop steps, his jump hooks. And then I really got to give Brooks a lot of credit. 1, he didn't start. 2, he doesn't look unhappy out there. He still loses himself in the game and shows good enthusiasm. 3, he might be our best passer. He was the one who was feeding the ball high-low to Sharp. He had 4 assists and 0 turnovers, did Garrison Brooks. What are your thoughts about the way Garrison played?
I think throughout the years on the successful Carolina teams, there's always been an upperclassman who sacrificed for the betterment of the team, and it seems like Brooks is doing that a lot to keep the big men engaged. A lot of times when you're a big guy, you don't handle the ball on the perimeter. You get disengaged. You lose your focus when you don't get as many touches. But if Garrison can, along with the guards, keep our young big guys happy, I think it's going to help us a lot. And he did that game. He shared the ball. He made timely passes. And it might relieve some of the pressure off of himself because, they had him preseason, player of the year in the conference. And that's a lot of pressure when you don't have the type of guard play that Carolina normally has to relieve some of that pressure off the bigs.
100%. Speaking of freshmen, Kerwin Walton gets into the starting lineup, goes 4 of 8 from the field, and also 4 of 8 from the three-point line. 12 points, 3 assists, 1 turnover. That's a heck of a stat line. What were your thoughts about Walton?
Oh, it was unbelievable because in previous games we talked about the young guard play turning the ball over, and we always wanted Carolina. Coach Smith would always talk about. I'm sure Roy stresses always having more assists and turnovers, and the 3-to-1 turnover to assist ratio is great.
Yeah. He's got a stroke that just opens up the floor, makes it fun whenever he's catching the ball. The other stat that jumps out, you touched on, 21 offensive rebounds. 21 offensive rebounds. Now, two things have to happen to have 21 offensive rebounds. You have to miss a lot of shots.
Yes.
Right? There has to be opportunity. And then you got to have the personnel and the mentality to go get it. North Carolina, they have Sharp, Baycott, and Brooks are numbers 2, 3, and 4 in the ACC in offensive rebounding. And North Carolina is, as a team, number 1 in the ACC. They gather almost 42% of their missed shots. So their best offense is almost a missed shot. What were your thoughts on their offensive rebound?
Well, I mean, I think, it goes back to the way Roy recruits. He loves to recruit big guys. He loves to play the inside-out game. As a program in our history, we've always had rebounders and played through our bigs. Unfortunately, if you miss a lot of shots and the bigs aren't active on the glass, it could cost us a game, on the other end. So, but I think if, we got 3 bigs, 4, if we want to count Kessler Walker, he's not getting the minutes that he probably thinks he deserves right now, but he's got to wait his time. But if those big guys, like they say nowadays, if they continue to eat down there under the glass and get their shots, it could carry us a long way, hopefully.
Concerns after that game. I mean, it's such a fine line, right? The food tastes so much better after a win. Your jokes are funnier. The girls look prettier. But Leaky Black doesn't make that runner, or Notre Dame comes back with 9 seconds to go and they have a wide open baseline jumper. And if they make it, you feel awful. Such a fine line. I used to told my assistant one time, we won a game in an event at SMU against Illinois State. We had a tip-in at the buzzer, and we won by 1. And after the game, the buses were next to each other. They're getting on their bus, the losing bus. We're getting on the winning bus. And I said to my assistant, Lance Irvin, I said, it's a fine line between getting on the winning bus and getting on the losing bus. So, as a coach, you've got to watch that film as if you lost the game. You can't get intoxicated with a win. You can feel good, but this is something I struggle with a little bit as a coach, and maybe it was the players that struggled too. You have a win, the guys feel good about it, but you're upset as a coach because we could have easily lost the game, and we just won because we're more talented or bigger or stronger. What were your concerns after this game as you viewed the tape?
My concerns were, spacing offensively. Watching the tape, we still look like a young team. Although the ball was going inside, the spacing perimeter-wise was not there. So if they had to throw it back out because of good post defense, we weren't going to be ready to take shots. Penetrating the gaps offensively, we're not quite getting in the paint enough to create, through our point guard play. Most of the guards at Carolina with Ty Lawson and, Marshall are able to get in there and create opportunities. We're not getting a lot of those as of yet. Defensively, watching the game, we still are letting them get to the rim for kickback outs. We gave up a few offensive rebounds, which led to open threes, which they made. So there's still some things I think that Coach Williams could look at the film and critique the team, and hopefully, the young guys are learning how to watch film and to become better players by watching the film.
Well, that's the biggest thing. You gotta, we used to have a midnight rule: enjoy the win till midnight, and then we're gonna study it and find our flaws. And usually, I found as a coach, there were at least 50 clips after a game that weren't good. And so, what do you pick to show the team, and what do you work on as a staff? We've talked a lot about pick and roll defense. Their pick and pops with Nate Laszewski was not very good. I mean, you played in the NBA. I scouted the NBA. He's a modern day NBA four-man. Maybe if he bulks up, he can play small ball 5. But that dude is shooting 59% from the three-point line. His stroke is beautiful. He was 7-11 from the three-point line for 25 points. What did you see in their pick and pop defense against Laszewski that you would possibly change with your NBA background?
You almost, I mean, if Leaky is in the pick and roll, you maybe want to switch it, because Garrison Brooks had struggled a little bit getting out of the show and getting back, especially with a big who can run to his open spot, get his feet set, keep the ball up high and shoot it, get a quick release. We're going to struggle with teams that can do that. They're going to put Baycock in pick and rolls. They might put Sharper in pick and rolls. Putting Brooks in the pick and roll. It's going to be a challenge for us. I think we're going to struggle against those teams that have that 3-4 stretch 4 guy.
Yep.
And if they can hit those shots, like you said, it's going to be a fine line between winning and losing games.
Yes. And then the other thing is the drive game by the 4-5s that go along with the same concepts. They've got to, in the pick and roll, show and recover, but also in the drive game, Mike Bray at Notre Dame like to spread it out a little bit, especially with Nate at the 4, Laszewski. And we got beat on closeouts by our, Baycott, Brooks, Sharp, like we did against Georgia Tech. And that's going to be, again, if I'm playing North Carolina, I'm packing it in defensively, making them shoot threes, pack it in, be in position to rebound. And then offensively, I'm going to stretch it and drive those bigs and try to get to the foul line. Now, Notre Dame only got 6 free throw attempts, but the drive game, the drive and kick game, the pick and pop game is definitely a concern.
To host a player show or appear as a player on a player show, simply create a profile on Fan Media's iOS app or website. Select your teams and make a short intro video on your phone. Show hosts, reporters, former players, and superfans can use our Get Verified feature and make an intro video as well, and our mobile newsroom staff will reach out.